Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Laura, for those of you that do not know, and today I'm super excited to share with you my list of my top steamy, intense romance reads. And now I feel like there's a lot of different types of romance. There's the more tame, not as vulgar romance, and then there's the romance that just like goes all out, gets you like off your rocker reading it. Like, that's what I'm talking about today. The type of romance where you're like sweating a little bit while you're reading it. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. Steamy, intense, crazy romances that I love, that I think you're going to love as well. Before we jump into it, I actually have a sponsor for today's video. And now guys, this sponsor is unlike any sponsorship that I've ever done before. It's really out there, and it's really something that I never really saw myself promoting on my channel. But when I got this email, when I first started talking to the company, I felt really compelled to share this product and to talk about it because of the message behind their brand. The brand that I'm talking about today is called Osuga, and it is a sex toy company. And now you're probably like, okay, that's interesting, Laura, interesting choice. But I read this email from them, and they were talking about female empowerment and how there shouldn't be any shame when it comes to women talking about sex and talking about sex toys, and how it should be an empowering thing and a thing that brings women together, and it should be talked about. It doesn't have to be so hush hush. And I was like, you know what, that's so true. And if I ignore this email, I'm being that type of person that's being hush hush and doesn't want to talk about it, when I could be sharing this and I could be helping somebody, potentially empowering other women to kind of take control of their bodies and to do what they want and to be sexual people, and that's totally cool and fine and amazing. And so I wanted to work with this company for that reason. Also, they sent me their product and I really like it and I want to share it with you. So they have two main products on their website. They sent me their Cuddly Bird product, and look at the packaging. Tell me this doesn't look like it should be out of Beauty and the Beast. It looks like the rose. But it's this really cool packaging, and it charges on this little base. You plug it in with this wire, and you can charge it on the base. It's like magnetic. They have different colors. I went with yellow because yellow is my favorite. And there's two different settings, so you can make the whole thing vibrate, and you can also have like a suckingness with this part. So it does both. There's different settings on the bottom. It's this like really supple, soft silicone, super comfortable material that just feels really nice, and you guys are gonna like it. So they have two different products. This one isn't necessarily for penetration, but the other one is, so you can look on their website. But if you want to shop from Osuga, you can use Laura at checkout for $40 off all through July. So $40 off. That's an amazing deal. So go check out the product. I'm telling you, this is my endorsement for the product, and I think that you're going to like it. And just don't be so shy about, you know, sex toys and about sexuality. Like, you don't have to be shy about it. I understand that not everybody is super open and like, woo, like about it, but like, I could not care less, and I'm happy to share this sex toy with you guys. So that's what we're doing today. So go check out Osuga, use my code Laura for $40 off, get you one of these. Let me know your thoughts. If you have questions about the product, definitely let me know down below, or tweet me or DM me if you don't want to be like public about it. I'll totally answer DMs pertaining to this product if you have them. So yeah, thank you so much to Osuga for sponsoring this video. Really excited to work with you guys and just empower women all around the world. So that's what I hope we're doing with today's video. We're going to be talking about some crazy, steamy romance books to continue on with this woman empowerment theme, so I hope you guys will enjoy them. I actually have a mix of series and standalone recommendations, so I'm going to first start off with the standalones, and then we will move into the series. The first standalone that I want to talk about today is called Mr. Masters by T.L. Swan. This book I've talked about plenty of times, and it is one of my all-time favorites. It's my favorite by T.L. Swan by a landslide. Something about this book is just so fantastic. I love the characters, I love the storyline, but the steaminess and the chemistry between these two main characters is like palpable from page one. It's so intense and amazing. So this book follows a girl who moves from Australia to the UK to have a nannying job. She goes there assuming that she's going to be working for a woman and this woman's two kids. She gets there, it's actually a man, and it's this live-in nanny position, and she's supposed to be staying there, and she just can't go home. So she kind of just has to go, even though it's not what she was expecting. She was expecting a woman to be there, not a man. But she goes, and this man is like super cold. He's super just like about his work and just wants her to do her job, but she's super like fun and wants to do things her way, and it kind of causes them to butt heads a little bit. So it's a little bit of like an enemies to lovers, but not really. But it's just so good. I love this book so much. Another thing I should mention is that I'm all for like a steamy, super intense book, but there has to be character development and plot to go along with it. Like, I don't like just reading straight up smut, like just that's the whole book. I need there to be like true characterization and plot going on and like little things happening. Like, it has to be more than just that. So all of these books are more than just that, so you should know that going in. But this book is phenomenal. I really love the character development and the progression of these characters, but whoo, it also is just like really intense and crazy. So if you're looking for something like that, highly recommend. Super good book. Next standalone recommendation I have is Credence by Penelope Douglas. This is a book that I went into completely blind, having no idea what it was about, and I was just like shocked when I started it. I was like, oh my god, I didn't expect all of this. It is about a girl whose parents die in a tragic way, and she doesn't really have much family except for a step uncle who she doesn't really know, who has sons. He has 2 sons, I believe, and they live in the mountains, and they offer her to come stay with them, and she says yes, and she gets there, and she has these cousins and her uncle. They're really not related at all or know each other at all, so it's like really not as weird as it might sound. But she goes and stays there, and there's just a crazy time going on in this household. I will just tell you guys, I wasn't even sure who the main guy was in this book. I had to rethink my guess multiple times for an array of reasons that I'm sure you can figure out in your brain right now. So if you're looking for steam, if you're looking for like crazy steam, I recommend Credence. I think it's great, and the story was like really fascinating along with the steaminess like I was saying before, so definitely recommend it. I think it was a really good one. It had me on my toes the whole time I was reading it. I had no clue what was going to happen at the end of this book, but I'm glad that I hung around for the ride. I think you will enjoy it too. Okay, my last standalone recommendation is so good. It's forbidden romance. It's just, ugh, it's amazing. It's Medicine Man by Saffron Kent. Saffron Kent, one of my all-time favorite authors. All of her books are like super steam fest, like I will say that. This one in particular though, it gets me on a different level. I don't know what it is, but I love it. It's about a girl who falls for, like, not her therapist, like her psychiatrist or something. She's like in a mental institute, which sounds crazy. But she's there, and she has a guy that she sees every day, kind of like for therapy, I guess, and she falls for him. Super like unethical if this was a real world situation, but it's a book, so I'm just gonna like ignore that, you know? Like, if this was real, obviously this wouldn't be like as like hot and like cool, but it's a book, so I'm like fine with it. However, the book is really good. I thoroughly enjoy the romance between these two, and there's plenty of scenes that will just blow your socks off, so I highly recommend. Getting into the series, my first recommendation is actually a duology, so it's just 2 books, but it follows the same storyline, and that is Bound Together and Torn Apart by Kay Webster. This was another book that I just randomly came across and was like, I'll read it, I guess, not really knowing too much about what it was, and it ended up being a book about a polygamous, or is polygamous a word? Oh my god, polygamous? A relationship where there was polygamy? How do you say polygamous? This book ended up being about a relationship between 4 people. That's how I'll say it. There is a relationship between 4 people, and it's really unexpected. It's kind of just like random. They all end up getting together. Like, you'll see if you read the book. But obviously you could see how that amounts to like a really steamy read. It was 3 guys and 1 girl, and it's their relationship. It's explored over 2 books. I really enjoyed this book more than I thought I would. I didn't think that this would be something I would really enjoy, but I ended up really loving it, and I think that's because with the like fun, steamy, smutty scenes, there actually is a genuine, real story behind it. Like, there's a true plot to it to go along with the steam, so that's why I really enjoyed it. If you have any recommendations for books similar to this kind of thing, where it's not just 100% smut scenes, like it's actual plot, I would love to hear the recommendation, because I would would love to read something similar to this because it's something like I've never read before. But I highly recommend it. I thought it was really fun, super fast paced. I blew through both books really, really quick, and I think you can too. This next recommendation is like the steamiest out of all of these, I think. It is the Wolf Hotel series by Nina West, aka K.A. Tucker. So if you know K.A. Tucker, she writes romance books. They're all pretty like tame and laid back though. Like she doesn't even really have that many like crazy scenes within her normal romance books that like really get you going. However, she has her books that she writes under Nina West that verge more on the side of like erotica than just like romance, even though I found that these books read like romance books, like they have real plot and real characters and all that. But this series, I read it randomly. I don't remember how I came across it, but I knew that it was K.A. Tucker under her pseudonym, so I was like, I'm gonna read these. Oh my god, these books are wild. It follows this girl who moves to Alaska to work at this hotel, the Wolf Hotels, and it's like her relationship with her and the owner of the hotel, and there's just so many shenanigans that happen, so many different things with different characters and like crazy things, and it's just like a wild ride. I can't even really describe it beyond what I just said, but I promise if you're looking for something crazy, plot twisty, steamy, but like really fast paced, really fun, and just like there's a lot to read. I forget how many, but there's a few books, and I blew through them super quick. I highly recommend this series. It was so fun, and I've never heard anybody else talk about it. If you've read this series, we need to have a chat, because like I would love to talk to somebody about it, because it was so wild and just insane. Super steamy, super fun. I know all of you will really like it, so definitely go check it out. Let me know what you think. Okay, I know I just said that the Wolf Hotel series is like the most steamy, but I might have lied. It might be this next series. That is the Blindfold Club series by Nikki Sloan. Another book that I don't know, I randomly happened upon this book. I couldn't even explain half the ways I find books, but I found this series somehow, some way, started reading it, not really knowing what it was, and I was just like sucked in. Like I had to keep reading, and there's so many books, like 5 or 6, I forget honestly, but there's so many books. They're long, they're all about different characters. So fun, so fun, crazy reads. This book follows a club where it's kind of like prostitution in a way. Like it's a club that has like a front that they're like a wine, like exclusive like wine member club, but guys go there to like have sex with girls basically. So it's like a prostitution club thing, but all the girls are like, you know, like they're like knowing, they get paid well, they get treated well, whatever. I can't explain it. It's a book, I can't explain it, but the book is so good. It follows different couples. My favorite happens to be the book about the guy that owns the club. That one is so good. I think that's book 3. But they're all amazing. I recommend reading them all. Super steamy and super good. But again, they have like such real relationships and character development. Like you actually get attached to the series like in a way that I feel like I wouldn't with most like erotic books. So you'll have to check them out. Let me know what you think. I'm a huge fan. I think you will be too. This next series is kind of similar in a way. It is the Voyeur series by Fiona Cole. This also follows like an exclusive like sex type club where people will go and watch sex workers like reenact scenes like from behind like glass, like where they can't be seen, and like they go and watch people, which is why it's called Voyeur. And so there's different books about different scenarios. Like the first book is about a girl who works at the club and ends up falling for her professor who goes to the club. So that's like a really crazy, like forbidden one. But there's a bunch of different books that all follow the same friend group, but they are all equally steamy and fun to read. And again, just characters that you instantly fall in love with and just cannot stop reading. I highly recommend this series. I love it. It's one of those series where there isn't really one or the other, where I think like one book triumphs over all of them. Like all of the books are equally fun and good and have different unique plots. So I highly recommend reading all of them. My last recommendation for today is the Forbidden Desire series by Kendall Ryan. This is a series that I read a while back, but whenever I think about it, I'm like, I need to reread it. Like it was so good. And it follows 3 brothers. There's 4 books. The first 2 are about the same couple, and then there's different couples on the other 2. My favorite is the 4th book about the oldest brother, and it follows these brothers who are CEOs of this big company that they founded together, kind of like an escort company company. I don't know, all these books have crazy companies that like I'm like a little suspicious about, but I don't know, I think it's like an escorting company. And the first book is about a guy who falls for this like innocent girl, and he has all this baggage and turmoil, and it's whatever. It's a very typical like billionaire romance book. If you've ever read that trope, I personally really like it, and I've read a ton of them. This happens to be one of my favorites, so it follows a bunch of different couples, but the steam in these books is just like something I've never read before. It's really special. I think you'll like it. Again, this series just really captures like a fun energy while also having like deep scenes and like really steamy scenes, and just it's an all-around really good series. Also super fast-paced. Kendall Ryan's books I literally can read in the blink of an eye. They're really fun in that way. So I think you guys will like it if you're looking for something that's a little more short, a little easier to get through. This is definitely my recommendation for that. So guys, those are my recommendations for my favorite steamy romance books. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely have more that I could recommend. So if you liked this video, let me know, and let me know if you want to see a part 2. I'd be more than happy to do it. Obviously, I want to know what all of your favorite, most steamy romance books are in a comment down below. Let me know about ones that you think have that really good like character plot, really like decent book, but also incorporate like really steamy, crazy scenes, because that's like the perfect match for me. So I want to know what your favorites are. Tell me down below so I can get to reading them and adding them to my TBR. Again, a huge thank you to Osuga for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to get a sex toy for yourself, definitely check out the link down below and use my code LARA for $40 off. It's an amazing deal. You're never gonna find a discount like it, so definitely go check it out. Let me know if you end up buying one. I want to hear all about it. I want to hear about the experience and how empowered you feel clicking confirm purchase. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will be back very, very soon with another one. Bye!